Welcome to Cornbrook Academy's BBC School Report 2017. Here are today's headlines. School faced with budget cuts. Students embark on the Duke of Edinburgh award scheme. Cornbrook Academy continues to help the local community. And now, our first story. Schools in England are going to face the first real-term cuts in their funding since the mid-1990s. This means funding for our 16 to 18-year-olds is now higher than almost 30 years ago. The budget will have been slashed over £68 million. This means a £440 cut for each of the students in Lancashire. Now over to William to see what the teachers think about this.
What are your views on the proposed budget cuts?
I think it's very disappointing that education is one of the areas going to be cut in terms of budgets. Just really disappointing.
Do you think they could have made cuts elsewhere?
Yeah, I certainly think the cuts should be made elsewhere, away from the front line in terms of education. One of the problems that we've got is that the cuts are being made because of the societal problem back in 2008. Obviously we had the credit crunch and the economic collapse. And in terms of that economic collapse, it seems to be that public services, education, health service are all taking the brunt in terms of these cuts. And unfortunately this is affecting, obviously with the health service, people's health, and obviously affecting potentially in the future the education of young people. And in terms of making savings elsewhere, I believe that should come from where the mistakes came from, which is the banking sector, and they should be taking some extent of those problems.
What are your opinions on the proposed budget cuts?
I understand that certain areas in the government have to have some sort of budget cuts due to past overspending and debt. But I believe that having budget cuts on local schools is probably the worst idea, because overall in the long term it'll reduce student success and end up to a less productive society overall.
Do you think this will have a big impact on students?
Overall I believe that the impact will be kind of small, but at the same time it's still going to have an impact on the students and decrease future success of students. So yes, I believe that it will have an impact on the students and the pass rate for GCSEs, but only a slight one really.
The Duke of Edinburgh Award was founded in Britain in 1956, and since then it has expanded to over 144 nations. There's more to life than sitting on a sofa watching life pass by you. The Duke of Edinburgh Award gives you the opportunity to get off that sofa and become involved in a range of activities, from canoeing to rock climbing to volunteering, improving your personal skills. To achieve the bronze, silver and gold awards, there are 4 components to complete: volunteering, physical skill, expedition and residential. Duke of Edinburgh is a real adventure for young people from 14 to 24. This programme is full of activities that will get you buzzing, and the best bit is you can choose what you want to do. This programme teaches young people independence, stamina, determination and teamwork. It was named after Prince Philip, who is married to Queen Elizabeth. I'll now pass you on to our reporter Matty interviewing Mr Thomas.
Thank you, Ellie. Do you think it's important that every student gets a chance to join the course?
Absolutely, I think it's important that students get the opportunity, particularly when they're at a younger age in year 9 instead of having to wait when they're a little bit older. They get to work on their volunteering skills, physical skills, and as well to improve something that they've never done before possibly. They get to work in the community and also help out with that.
Did you get the chance to take part in this scheme when you was younger?
When I was younger, I had the opportunity to take part in it, but only at sixth form. So during the course of my studies, there was too much going on. The fact that we can offer it to year 9s is a massive advantage in terms of when they actually come to leave, they've got something under the belt that they can take with them.
How do you help the students prepare for the expeditions?
Prior to the expeditions, students will sign onto the course. Once they've done that, they take part in an emergency first aid course, which is led by us, just to make sure that they've got the life-saving skills that they might need when they're on the moors. We then take part in 3 training days so they can work on the compass work and the map reading skills. And we also look at building a tent, building a campsite, and how to cook for themselves as well when they do the expeditions.
What is your favourite memory from taking students on expeditions?
Some of my favourite memories have been when it's rained. Although students don't particularly enjoy it at the time, afterwards it's always something we can laugh about. The sun, when it's nice weather in the summertime, is always nice when we're on the campsite and chilling out. And then particularly when we've had previous students leaving the food out of the tent and a sheep eating it, has always gone really well.
Thank you for your time, Mr Thomas. We will now be interviewing the head girl, Chloe Bond. The first question is, what have you got out of Duke of Edinburgh and has it benefited you?
Well, I've got quite a bit out of Duke of Edinburgh, but mainly just a sense of achievement. Being able to say that I've done my bronze and my silver just makes me feel really proud of what I've achieved. Also knowing that I've helped out in the community through my volunteering, it just gives you a really good feeling.
Has doing this scheme changed you both physically and mentally?
Yeah, I mean, it was really physically challenging, I'm not going to lie. It was probably one of the hardest things I've ever done, but it taught me a lot about my own resilience, you know, that I can keep going even when it gets really tough.
Is there anything from this scheme that is going to stick with you for life?
Yeah, unfortunately, during my silver expedition, I ended up with some really massive blisters on my feet, which made it really hard to walk, but I guess the life lesson from that is definitely do not wear wet socks for more than a few days in a row.
What is your favourite memory from the Duke of Edinburgh?
Yeah, one of my favourite memories was, and one of the funniest probably, was that a friend of mine, Lewis Gorton, woke up on one day of our silver expedition with to find that a sheep had lodged itself in his tent, which was quite hilarious, as you can imagine.
Thank you, Chloe. We will now be passing you on to Ethan Manley.
Building bridges started in the late 1980s as a project run by volunteers. They now have a board of directors from a broad range of backgrounds and professions who are drawn across the local community. Their aims are to promote diversity as being a positive aspect in the makeup of our society. Compliment Academy has now been involved with this organisation for the last 6 years. I will now hand you over to our reporter, Jingtar.
Why have you chosen Pet Cancer Research as your charity to raise money for?
The money raised is to support young people, children that suffer from cancer, so it's a charity that I think is really important to support.
What kind of activities have you organised for Pet Cancer Research?
Well, I set the Key Stage 3 students some homework where they have to make some craft items, and then throughout the academic year I do lots of different craft stalls within school, and we've had some actually at professional venues as well. So we had a craft stall at the charity lunch, which was last December, and some of the students came and helped out there, and I also do some raffles in school as well.
Which was your most successful event?
The most successful event has been the raffle that we've done recently, because the Key Stage 3 students have absolutely loved it, and the prizes have been really good that have been donated as well, so that raised a lot of money.
Do you know how much money you and the school community have raised?
The school itself has raised £2,053, that's for all of the charity work they've done, but the Petal Cancer part of that up to date, so since the last 3 years we've been doing it, is £650, so I'm really pleased about that.
Today we will be interviewing a Year 10 student who has taken part in the Building Bridges project last year. The method of which she and her group promoted awareness about our multicultural society was very successful. Angel, tell us what you did to promote awareness.
To promote awareness, we built a script up together, and we did base the play on Rosa Parks and how she didn't want to move on the bus.
What gave you the idea to do it this way?
The idea was because it will stick in your head, because we had a song to go with it, and that we all enjoyed acting, and we thought it will stick in your head more.
Did you enjoy taking part in Building Bridges activities? Was it enjoyable and educational?
I enjoyed taking part in Building Bridges activity because it was enjoyable and educational, and it brought us all closer together.
Do you think Building Bridges had an impact in raising awareness about our multicultural society?
Building Bridges had an impact in raising awareness about our multicultural society, and it brought a clear, strong message.
Were you proud to represent Building Bridges?
I was proud to present Building Bridges because it opens your eyes and makes you realise how prejudiced society can be.
That's all our questions for Angel. Now back to Mate in our newsroom.
Thank you for watching and listening to BBC's School Report.
Join us next year for another interesting story.